It got ridiculous. Both of you, shut it, they do, like scolded children. I don't care who says it, just say it. The brothers look at each other and shrug. Callum turns to fully face his wife and drops the bomb. Ezran is in love with Anya. Rayla goes from annoyed to surprised. Not what I expected to hear if I'm honest. She turns to Ez. Does she know? Yes, he answers. We have been searching a way to be together, but he doesn't finish the idea. There was no need. It was more than obvious what he wanted to say. Rayla stays silent for a moment, thinking. When the twins were born, she says. Anya went to see them first thing in the morning. Remember, Callum? When we told her we wanted her to be their godmother. I remember, he says. I left you two alone to go send Ezran the message about the twins' birth. Exactly, she continues. After Callum left, we started talking. Of course I asked her about motherhood and things kind of escalated. She admitted to be in love, that it wasn't unrequited but that it couldn't be. I pressed her and she ended up confessing a big secret. She makes a pause to assess the room. No one speaks up, so she continues. She blurted, screamed at me, that a queen can't marry a king. That's when I knew she meant you, Ez. Ezran moves to kneel in front of her sister-in-law, grabs both her hands, and asks softly. Did she said those words? Did she said she loved me? Rayla shakes her head. No, she says. But I asked her, are you in love, and she said she was. Is she? Frees one hand to caress his face. I think you know why she didn't say it. Ez nods. She won't say it, to me or anyone, unless she is sure there is a future there. He stands up and starts pacing again. She wants to say it. I know she wants to say it back every time I tell her how I feel. She is stubborn, says Callum. More like trapped, corrects Ezran. And we are both looking for a way out. To free her. To free us. But no matter how hard we look, it's always a dead end. Like a labyrinth with no exit. No way out. You are wrong, she says. There is a way. Anya told me. She looks at her husband. And I'm sure Ez told you. That's why you are here. You are right, says Ezran, going to sit by her side once more. That's an option. I abdicate in favor of my legal heir and go down to the rank of prince. Not even crown prince, sorry, I would have that title. That would give me freedom to declare my intention to court Anya. No one could argue against it. Not Catullus and certainly not Duran. I could go. Leave all these behind, leaving you two with a royal duty I know you never wanted. Ezran's head hangs low. I can't. I can't ask that from you. Then, why tell us in the first place? I don't know, call it desperation. Oh, Rayla holds him the way she would a child. Ezran hugs her like his life depended on it. Is there really no other way? There's not, he says, voice breaking. I've read and reread time and time again the Catullus laws. I even borrowed books from Duran. I found no way. A merger. Rayla suggests, not convinced. I mean, it's common in high society. It's different to merge two states than two kingdoms, he says. I wrote the propositions, drew graphics, did the math, it was a nightmare. And I was just taking two kingdoms into consideration into that model. I don't even want to begin to think how it would be including the other three. What does the other three have to do with this? Politics, military power, treaties, trading, you mention it, it will be there to consider it. Everything would have to be revised. You can be sure the other kingdoms won't be happy. But why? Balance of power, says Callum. We would be seen as a threat. Remember that the Council of Kings exists to have a majority decision. If two kingdoms merge, then one vote is eliminated or more like doubled. Basically, the merged kingdoms would have their way most of the time with just one ally. We wouldn't even need to look. At least one advisor will propose it to their liege. And then there's Zadia, adds Rayla, now fully understanding. The two kingdoms with borders uniting. It doesn't look good, at all. Even if they are convinced there is no danger, I know elves. They would keep us under strong surveillance. Not only that, they would make sure that we know they won't tolerate even the tiniest of mistakes. They would make examples. Assassins, whispers Rayla, and immediately turns to her baby's room. Yes, says Ez. Perfect targets. Fucking hell, she curses. There is really no other way out. I'm afraid the laws are that strict. Ezran stands up to stir the fire. But again, I won't ask this of you. But then, you would lose her, says Rayla. Some things are just not meant to be. They stay in silence. Acceptance of the unfairness of the situation closing in on them. I got it. Until Callum screams, springing to his feet, startling the other two and waking up the babies. Rayla looks at him with murder in her eyes. He gives them a little guilty smile. Stay there. I got them. 10 minutes later, babies once again in dreamland. He sits back down in the couch. What the hell was that? Asks Rayla, punching his arm. Sorry, I'm sorry, but I got an idea. Don't know if it will be the solution, but it's a start. What is it? Ezran hated how hopeful his voice sounded. Laws. They are not set in stone, he says. We can make amendments. Change them. Those are old laws, Callum. The base of our system. A system that has changed with the times. They are not old, they are ancient, outdated. I read a lot of nonsense while looking for a way to get Chloe Baylett to get the heck away from me back then. Because apparently engaged wasn't enough, mutters Rayla. Look, Callum, I've already thought of that. The changes can't be made just like that. I may be king, but doing that just because I want to do something would be badly seen. Ezran deflates again. Things as big need discussion, they need to pass through vote, and to vote I would need to organize a summit with, he stops talking as realization hits him. Council. I need a council. Exactly, cheers Callum, moving to mess his brother's hair and smiling. That means that this tour of yours is much more important than we thought. I'm just. Callum, Go right to Anya. Callum pushes his brother toward the door. Tell her there is still a chance and to endure. Ezran doesn't need to be said twice. He runs. As soon as Ezran is gone, Callum locks the door again with the spell still in place. When he turns, Rayla can see his happy smile had turned sad. This is not as perfect as you painted it for him, is it? She asks, hugging him tenderly, touching foreheads with him, eyes close. She feels his arms around him, keeping her close. No, it's not. But it gives us time. Us. She opens her eyes and takes one step back to be able to see him eye to eye. Her expression changes to one of understanding a few seconds later. Oh. I want to do this for him, he says. Our trump card of sorts if all else fails. Not his decision, but ours. He frowns. But Rayla, just say the word. Say that you don't agree and... She shuts him up with a kiss. He protected our happiness, she says. Our turn to protect his. Callum's smile is blinding. The kiss he gives her makes her knees go weak and her heart to go thundering inside her chest. She grabs onto him for dear life. While Rayla smiles at her husband, who now has a little smug smile on his face. Being a while since you kissed me like that. He gives her a small peck. Didn't want to pressure you into anything, he says. I was waiting for you to be ready and initiate something. You are the best husband anyone could wish for. Another long kiss. Take me to bed. Are you sure? Yes, my love. We still need to talk about. Rayla effectively shut him up with her lips. Later. I have better ideas about the use of our time before a couple of we devils wake up. //////. The grandfather clock in the room marks 3:53 a.m. Rayla opens her eyes when she hears a door open and then close with a soft click. Callum walks back to bed and gets under the covers. Rayla moves to meet him in the middle, where they embrace. All in order, she asks, fingers traveling up and down the length of his bare back. He hums in pleasure. All in order, he answers. Baby's fed, cleaned, and sleeping. Good. She kisses the middle of his chest and proceeds to get cozy. Not so fast, love, we still need to talk. I'm not awake enough, Callum. The clock marks 4 a.m. It's late, we can call a late breakfast and discuss. Then she looks up. Don't worry, I know how serious this is, but I also don't think this is appropriate pillow talk. Callum takes a deep breath and relaxes. Rayla was right. They had time to discuss it. You win. He kisses the top of her head. Good night, Rayla. I love you. Love you too, Callum. She is asleep in seconds. For Callum it takes a bit longer. If it weren't for Rayla's presence, he was sure he would be having a panic attack and already regretting his decision. Old habits and all that. King Callum of Katolis, he whispers. Queen Rayla of Katolis. Crown Princess Sarai of Katolis, he giggles. Only Aiden would keep his title as though he would move from third in line to second in line. Callum takes another deep breath and closes his eyes. But, are we ready for it? I think we are, yes, says Rayla the next morning, eating a biscuit and drinking Claudia's improved morning potion, now dark magic free. We know how things work, how monarchs and advisors think, people all around trusts and likes us, we learned to manage the stress, and we truly mastered our poker faces. But is that enough? It's a good start, she says. And we wouldn't be alone, starting with Opalai and Corvus. And what if? No, people won't think it was an elaborate plan to take the throne from Ezran. Callum gapes. How did you? Never mind. I'll just roll with it. After over a decade together I can say I know you pretty well, Midge boy. She winks at him with a cheeky half smile. They fall into a comfortable silence. I got to admit, he says. Last night, I needed it. I just didn't know how much until we were there. He loves how Rayla tries to hide her blush behind her cup. Me too, she admits. I didn't know that I could miss you like that. You don't have to, he says, taking her hand over the table. Rayla smiles. If you didn't have meetings today I would drag you back inside to continue where we left off. I can always send a messenger saying I'm indisposed, he suggests. And risk Ezran coming in to check on you and walking in on us. No, thank you. Callum gives her an overdramatic sigh and pose. The royal responsibilities, he exclaims, and they laugh. In more sober voice after the laughter dies down, Callum adds. I'm kind of starting to look forward to it. You are? Yes. I don't remember much about my stepdad's marriage to Mom, but I do know he always made time for her, me, and Ezran. That means that if I really end up taking the throne, I'll also be able to spend time with you. My duties won't swallow me whole. And if they ever do, I'll make sure to drag you back to us. Callum smiles at her words. And I have to admit that I'm also kinda starting to look forward to the steadiness. Steadiness? She nods. We had already agreed to stay put until the twins were 2 years of age, and after that we were going back out as ambassadors, but now I don't think I would be able to stay away from them for so long, she explains. The roads are no place for toddlers. Someone needs to be out there, Callum says. But yes, I also don't want to part with any of you. So, who do we send? A small cry followed by a second catches their attention. Rain, check on that. They move to the cribs to see about their babies. Their family. Callum swear, right there, he would always put them first. Family came first. Ezran came first. So if his little brother needed him to step forward and take on this responsibility, by all it was worth it, he would do it. // Corvus enters the room and is immediately tackled by 2 small forms. Papa, the 2 kids exclaim. Easy, girls. You'll make your father fall, calls Opalai from her favorite chair in front of the fire. She puts her book down and moves to join them. Papa doesn't fall, we've tried, pouts the older one. Her younger sister nods vigorously. Opalai rolls her eyes and Corvus laughs. He picks up the little one and sits her over his shoulders. She squeals all the way up. And tell me, why are you 2 still up? It's late, he says, walking the girls to their room. Mama said we could wait until you got back because we missed you in the morning, explains the little one. And now he is back, says Opalai. Her tone gave no opening for discussion. So good night, hugs and kisses, and to bed with you. Yes, Mama, says the older one with a tiny respectful nod. She hugs Corvus at his waist. Good night, Papa. Corvus puts the little one back on the floor and bends over to kiss his eldest daughter's head. Good night, Alma, sweet dreams. He feels a pair of little arms around his leg. He turns. Good night to you too, Irene. Night, Papa. Alma takes her sister's hand and both enter their room. Opalai follows to tuck them in. After a couple more good nights and kisses, Opalai joins her husband. They hear a hushed conversation for a couple more minutes and then silence. And now, to properly greet my wife, he opens his arms. Opalai rolls her eyes at him, but he sees through her. Come on, I know you want it. She can't help it. The laugh she was trying to fight comes out. She walks into her husband's arms. They kiss long and tender. You were out all day, she comments, taking his hand and guiding them to their bedroom. Could only see you during those meetings. Not even talk with you. Yes, one of those days. King Ezran is anxious. The tower. No, he replies. He lets go of her hand to go lit the fireplace and a few lamps. It's about the other thing. Are you sure? She walks to the changing screen and starts disrobing. Did you get some news? This morning. That's why I was out so early. He waits for Opalai to finish changing before approaching and offering an open envelope. See for yourself. Opalai reads the letter and hums in approval. Well, well. Our lady kept her word. You thought she wouldn't. I had my reservations. Small ones, but there, says Opalai, throwing the message into the fire. I'm glad Evelyn proved me wrong. Queen Anya must have written to King Ezran about Lady Evelyn's return, says Corvus. I can't imagine any other reason why he would be so on edge. She did explain Duran's council wants her to pursue the queen again. They must be pressuring Anya as well. None of them will budge, Corvus reassures her. Anya loves Ezran too much and Evelyn knows it. Besides, she already moved on. I confirmed it. Their relationship is not out yet, so that counted in our favor. But, I still think that it's little unfair on her. To be asked to act as a smokescreen to scare suitors away from the queen to give us time to figure this out. He starts disrobing in front of her. Not like Opalai minded. Her husband had a really nice body. Any ideas? Oh. No, not yet, she says, walking to their bed. It's a rather complicated matter. Too many outdated laws that need revision and approval. Approval from who? If it's just the kingdom, he sees Opalai's judging stare. The one reserved for when he made a stupid comment. Okay, not just the king. No, she gets in bed and Corvus follows suit. Is one of those things that need to be discussed in High Council. If not, it would give the wrong impression. The king, manipulating the laws and everything else to fit his personal needs. A dictator. We can't have that. I'll write back to Evelyn tomorrow. Maybe there is something in Duran law we overlooked. Just remember to tell her to write back to me. You leave in 4 days. Not enough time for her reply to find you here. She tries to suppress a yawn, unsuccessfully. Tired, he kisses her temple. Sleep, we can continue this tomorrow. You promised your daughters fight lessons tomorrow, remember? 'Cause they sure do. We'll have a 5 and 7-year-olds bursting through that door first thing in the morning. We can talk after that. I'll ask Amaya to let them help with her drills, or they can help Claudia in the library. They love the library, many places to hide, and Claudia loves them. He looks at her sleepy wife. Maybe we could ask Prince Callum for assistance. Tell him and Rayla about Evelyn. That wakes her up. No. You can't. Why exactly? Callum would tell Ezran. He can't keep a secret from him. Then Ezran would tell Anya, Anya would confront Evelyn, and goodbye safety net, she explains. No. Too risky, she sighs. Besides, we shouldn't be doing this in the first place. All the meddling. You would have preferred for me not to tell you. Oh no. I'm glad you did. I'm just not used to plot without the king's knowledge. Normally it's the two of us plotting against someone. That sounds shady, he chuckles. And do your plans work? We got you to propose, didn't we? She gives him a peck and a wink. Good night, Corvus. She gets comfortable and falls asleep in no time. Wait, what? He looks down at his wife, to them chuckle and shake his head. Didn't matter anymore. He was happy. Loved his wife and daughters. He couldn't ask for more. Except maybe, that his king could have the same he did with the one he truly loved. Notes. One more chapter to go. Thank the Carol and Tuesday Ost for this update XD. Chapter 3, The Outcome. Summary. As the saying goes, love conquers all. Notes. See the end of the chapter for notes. Chapter text. Chapter 3 The outcome. They were back. After 3 months on the road they were finally back home. The sight of Katolis Castle in the distance almost makes Ezran cry. Remind me not to do this again anytime soon, he says. The law I found said every 4 years, answers Callum. Feel free to modify it. You almost have the council needed to take the decision. You only have to make it official. Right, sorry The 6-month-old baby makes a gurgle happy noise. Callum makes silly faces at her. The baby girl laughs and reaches with her tiny chubby hands to touch his face. She was settled in a baby carrier strapped to his chest while he rode Yuri, his mare. Ezran looks at him, really looks at him, and suddenly he is jealous. Ezran lowers his head, closes his eyes, and takes a deep breath. His hold on the reins becomes real tight and he feels his horse complaining. Or more like he hears him calling him out. The young king slowly lets go of the breath he was holding and his grab on the reins relaxes. He raises his head to concentrate on the road in front of him. To his left, Rayla, also with a baby strapped to her chest, stirs Yuan, her horse, close to him. She gets close enough to put a hand on his shoulder. Her touch and expression are gentle. I saw that, she says softly. Loud enough only for him to hear. 1 copper for your thoughts. Better not, he says, avoiding to look at her. You would ask for a refund, with interests. Or maybe I would surprise you, she says, returning to a correct position on Yuan. One hand on the reins and the other on Aiden's head, fingers moving over his scalp to soothe him. His horns had started to appear and he was fuzzy. Ezran sighs and gives in. Seeing you guys, well, makes me want that. What you have with one another. You didn't have to fight anyone, or plot anything, or try to change the rules of a whole kingdom alliance to be with each other. You just did. True, she said, with a calmness so unlike her. We didn't have to do any of that, because you did it for us. Ezran opens his mouth to counter, but realizes he can't. Instead he turns to the front again and shuts his mouth. You win that round, he says after a few seconds. I normally do, ask Callum. Ezran chuckles. I'll take your word for it. That's more like it, she says, ruffling his hair. Ezran couldn't remember his mother, but he was sure she would have looked at him the same way Rayla was doing at that exact moment. And, Ez. Remember that you are not alone on this. Ezran would have said more, but Aiden started crying and Rayla's attention shifted entirely to him. I'm not alone, he thinks. Ezran looks around him at all the people that has his back. Yes, not alone. He would need to remember that in the following weeks. /////. They were received by an overwhelming crowd. He could sense the warmth and joy of his people. The love and support the Katolans had for his family was more than noticeable. Normally, Ezran would dismount and do the last stretch to the castle gates on foot. This time though, he stayed on the horse. There was way too many people. Advancing on foot would have been too complicated. Rayla and Callum had gone back inside the carriage for baby safety. Bait was with them. The glow-toad was now rarely seen far from the twins. Ezran advances on his horse, waving and smiling. Many happy faces answer back. He hopes that those smiles stay when he announces his plans. But first things first. He needed to go deal with the hand-picked brand new 7 members of his council. ////. Ladies and gentlemen. You are here because you have showed traits needed in a good leader. You have good morals, wit, loyalty, compassion, among others. But, the most important, you are not afraid to talk back to me to my face instead of plotting behind my back. You don't sugarcoat your words to avoid my rage or displeasure. You know your job won't be to agree to my every whim, but to question it. You speak your mind, and your ideas. You are open to debate and to compromise. Ezran pauses for a second to look at the people gathered in the room before him. The 8 kneeling before the throne and their families gathered behind them, included a 3-legged wolf. He smiles. You are the reason me, Opalai, Callum, Rayla, and many more have worked so much to organize this, and, I can tell you, it was worth it. So, I have only one request, Please don't make me regret it. I already canned a council and I can do it again. All rise. He turns to Opalai, gives her a nod, and sits down. The next part was the boring one, as each new council member would go one by one to Opalai to take their vows and receive a golden decal with the Catullus coat of arms, marking them as unsaturated into their posts. Opalai will need at least 15 minutes with each one, and then she will explain basic norms and responsibilities to the crowd. Protocol. C. Boring. He looks at his family as Opalai proceeds. Rayla and Callum were there, babyless for once, wearing royal formal attires and holding hands. His sister-in-law looked beautiful in Catolan-like fashion but sporting Shadow Elves colors. Callum was wearing a typical princely formal get-up with the royal family colors and a cape. Why was he wearing a cape? Not even Ezran had one, and he was the king. Callum seems to sense his eyes on him because he turns to face him. Ezran makes his question with a silent gesture. Callum grabs the cape with his free hand and raises an eyebrow. Ezran nods. By only response, Callum side-eyes their aunt, shrugs with a little amused smile, and returns his focus to the ceremony, letting go of the fabric. The cape does an elegant flowing motion, falling back into place. The nerve of the inanimate object. With an eye roll, he looks at Amaya next to Callum. So that's what he meant, he thinks, taking in his aunt's get-up. She was wearing her formal army uniform with a cape of her own. But hers had a nice touch about it. It was of Sunfire Elves craftsmanship. That cape was not only a fashion statement, in a way it was also a political one. Besides, it made her look really cool. A union, maybe. After all, Amaya's relationship with Queen Janai was the worst kept secret in the human kingdoms and Zadia. There was even a beating pool, in which he might be participation, as to when it would become official. He sure knew that a general had more possibilities to marry a queen than he as king ever would. Anyways, it was just a matter of time, and when that time came, he would be their first open supporter. Ezran shakes his head slightly and goes back to paying attention to the ceremony. If it had depended solely on him, he would have made this a much simpler affair. But Opalai made it clear she would make his life a living hell if he dared to. So now he was here. Just waiting until it was his turn to speak again. Way over an hour later, after the last council member finished their induction, they went up in alphabetical order to avoid favoritism rumors, and Opalai had said her part. Ezran stands once more. Congratulations to all. You are now officially a part of this kingdom's honorable council. Opalai will remain as head council member and head high council member as well as royal advisor until you have more experience in the field and an internal election or re-election can be done. We will also select between the 7 of you which 3 will have the extra honor to be high council with me and Opalai. But that can wait, once again, until you get more experienced. Following this ceremony, you will be given directions to your private quarters for you and your families. Your personal aides will be waiting there for you. They are to be treated with respect. Those rooms and personnel will stay under your name until the end of your time with the council, but your titles won't be stripped away. Unless, of course, you do something to deserve said punishment. Ezran lets that sink in. When not here, you will be at your states managing your lands and sending reports every trimester. Council meets every quarter in times of peace. During times of war, it's the High Council presence that is needed here indefinitely. Let's hope that never comes to be. Our first official meeting will take place in 2 days' time. I know most of you arrived at least 1 week ago and are eager to begin. A few chuckles, but my brother, Rayla, and I could use the time off. He smiles. So, to not make this longer than needed, I'll say the 2 words you will come to love in years to come. Meeting adjourned. Everyone laughs at that. The air in the room changed dramatically to something more relaxed. There was happy chatter as the new members received hugs from their families and started making acquaintance with everyone else in the room. His smile widens when he sees Opalai giving Alma and Irene permission to go play with the other kids. Both girls were the best behaved kids he had ever seen, as one would expect given who their mother was. They didn't disturb the ceremony in any way, not even the smallest hint of a yawn. Of course, by the way they both bolted as soon as they were released from formal protocol behavior, they proved they were also Corvus daughters. He keeps looking around from the throne and can't help feeling a slight pang of pain in the middle of the chest. More so when the door opens and Nanny Lou and Nanny Greta enter with the twins. Rayla and Callum go immediately to them and the room starts fuzzing over the babies and introducing their own families. True, Rayla and Callum and the babies were his family, he wasn't there alone, but he still felt he didn't belong. His mind couldn't avoid thinking about Anya. He wanted what he was seeing with her. Be it in Catullus or in Duran or wherever really, he wanted a family with her. I'm sorry, Your Majesty, are you alright? Ezran is snapped out of his reverie by Ellis. Hey. Looking good, Lady Ellis, he says, standing up and giving her a hug, trying to divert the attention. Doesn't work. When he lets go, he sees Ellis raising an unamused eyebrow at him with her arms crossed. Ezran smiles a little nervous smile and scratches the back of his head. Okay, yeah, to answer your question, no. I'm not entirely alright. Ellis' expression turns to concern. Anything you want to share? Ezran shakes his head. Not at the moment. But I'll let you know when I feel ready to talk about it. Ellis nods and doesn't push. And, by the way, you can still call me Ez. Except not during council meetings. Could be seen unprofessional. Yes, sir. Ellis slaps his back with more force than someone her size should have. Ezran stumbles forward. She laughs. Sorry, Ez. The king recovers and rolls his eyes at her. And Ava. Ellis points to the left and he laughs. Ava was surrounded by kids, including little Irene. She accepted pets, hugs, scratches, and the occasional kiss. She is in heaven, she says. That wolf is a big softy. So is the owner that earns him a playful punch on the arm. I don't see your parents. They decided to stay back at the new state with Luyan. There is so much about the house management, lands, and people that they still don't know. They didn't want to stand out here and I don't blame them. From simple villagers to having to help me administrate a whole kingdom region, it's overwhelming. That was why she didn't want to accept in the first place. Because it would involve his parents in a direct way. But at the end it was them who told her to not worry about them and to accept. Opportunities like this one didn't come every day. They are happy, she adds. And they really hit it off with Luyan. Free advice, if you ever visit, don't play cards with them. Believe me. Hi Alice. Callum says, appearing in front of them. Sorry, but I need to borrow my brother. It's fine, my prince, she winks. Callum rolls his eyes and she laughs. They say their goodbyes and he sees Ava standing up and starting running circles around her. Ez, we are going now. We sent the nannies back with Sarai and Aiden already and Aunt Amaya is ready to leave. Join us. Yes, I'll go with you. They walk to the doors together. Ezran catches Ellis again, now helping a kid get on Ava's back. He wonders. Maybe, just maybe, if all else failed, maybe he and Ellis could. No, I can't. I won't do that to her, he says to himself. Do what to who? Asks Callum. Ezran jumps a good feet away from him. He didn't realize he had said that out loud. Someone is distracted. Rayla grins at him. I was concentrated, it's different. Whatever makes you feel better. Ezran glares at her. Come on you three, stop it, intervenes Amaya. And let's go to rest, I know I need it, she signs. Council instauration the same day we return. Bad idea. I'm beat. They exit the throne room and start walking to their rooms. Me too, Ezran stretches. I don't want to ride a horse for a long time. It wasn't that different from ambassador life, right honey? No, it wasn't, agrees Rayla. It wasn't that bad. Well, I'm glad someone enjoyed it, signs Amaya, walking backwards down the hallway. By the way, Rayla tells her. What's with that cape? They can see Amaya blush, but only for a second before she turns around and sped walks away from them. The three left behind look at one another and laugh. /////. 2 days later. Ezran enters his study early morning with an armload of missed messages from the last 2 days. He was thankful most of the messages were just congratulation notes that he could answer at another time. Only a few were messages he needed to see and reply this morning before breakfast. He sits and begins sorting them, separating local mail from out-of-kingdom messages, and then separating those marked as urgent. Just a few. He sees those. There was a collapsed bridge due to a landslide due to bad weather to the west and a hijacked road to the north close to Evenir border. So the tugs were still a problem and were beginning to advance into his kingdom. He pockets both messages. Perfect discussion for today's meeting. He sees the other urgent messages. They end up not being as urgent, just marked as such to make him see them first. He rubs his eyes. Ezran hated when people used that trick. It seems he would need to send warnings again. He goes for the inter-kingdom messages. Just one from Neolandia asking about the betrothal proposal and another from Delbar. He sets the Neolandia message aside to show it to Callum and Rayla. If he is honest, he completely forgot to show them the first message, and goes for the last missive. He reads the message from Delbar. It's boring and unimportant. He is about to crumple the message and throw it away when the last lines catch his attention. What is your stance in the Duran matter? I don't think Queen Anya has taken that initiative on her own volition. I feel her counsel hand on this. Personally, I don't think this chosen lady is the correct fit for her or the post. Then again, I've been wrong before. Time will tell. Hoping to receive. The letter falls to the floor together with many other things on his desk as he looks for a confirmation on what he just found out. Please no, please no, please no, he mutters, doing a frantic search. He finds the letter with the Duran seal and rips it open. The great kingdom of Duran happily announces the royal engagement of our sovereign Queen Anya and Lady Evelyn Briar. The piece of parchment joins the mess on his floor while he goes limp on his chair. Too late. It's too late. It's over. He can't help it. He cries. /////. The little note on the door surprises everyone, especially Callum. In over 10 years of ruling, Ezran had never cancelled or postponed any meetings. So why was he doing it now with this one? The first one with his new council, by far the most important one in all his years. Callum frowns. Something really serious must have happened. I'm going to look for him. I'll let you know what I find. He leaves the group behind. All talking and worrying about the unusual development. Callum doesn't waste time. He uses his finder spell to locate his brother. 10 minutes later he is standing in front of Ezran's private study. He knocks. The door opens just from the pressure and Callum doesn't like that. Ezran's study is like sacred ground, no people allowed, not even the maids can get inside to clean. Ezran had the only key and the door was always locked, even when he was inside. So for it to open just like that scared Callum to the core. He prepares a spell on his hands, ready to launch, and goes in slowly. He closes behind him with a faint click. He tiptoes around what was the wait area in King Harrow's time and moves to the second door. It's wide open, so he peeks inside, his heart going 1,000 beats per minute. His brother is there alone, alive, and seemingly unhurt, sitting on the floor in front of the lit fireplace reading a bunch of letters and throwing them into the fire. Callum cancels the spell in his hands, takes a deep relaxing breath, and walks in. Ezran, his brother, stops mid-movement to the fire for a second to then resume the action and letting the parchment fall into the fire. It burns dramatically from the center out. Ezran, what's wrong? By only answer Ezran gives him a letter. Callum reads and pales. Oh. Ezran, I don't know. Just go, he says. Tell everyone the meeting will start after lunch. But, you. I said go, he yells. I'm your king. Follow the damn order. Callum flinches. It was obvious no one would get through to him right now. He bows quickly, pained expression on his face, and leaves. He takes the now crumpled letter with him. ///. This can't be, says Rayla after reading the letter Callum snatched earlier. Anya wouldn't. Ezran was so sure that. This is. She looks up to see her husband's defeated expression. Sudden rage engulfs her and she rips the letter into little pieces to then stomp on them. It was coerced. I'm sure of that. Even if you are right, we can't prove it nor demand an explanation. He takes a step forward and gathers her in his arms. Rayla calms down instantly and clings to him. And we really can't do anything about it. It's not our place. It's Duran, not Katolis. No. There must be something still. I wish. Gods, poor Ezran. Callum looks around. He had found her in the main hall entrance and they were still there. They needed someplace more private. They were really lucky that no one. I'm sorry to intrude, Your Highness, but did something happen to the king? Heard them. Callum sighs. Whatever. Water under the bridge. Come with us, Corvus. Maybe you or Opalai will have a better idea how to manage this. // As it was, they really had an excellent idea. The same one he had all those months ago. // Council meeting room -3 p.m. The air in the room feels tense. Not the best mood to begin a meeting as important as this one. Prince Callum calls Ellis, trying to start a conversation to break the uncomfortable silence. Will the king be arriving soon? If not, I'll use a spell, he answers in a cutting tone, arms crossed. Rayla puts a soothing hand on his shoulder. What happened exactly? I mean, you told us the general gist and everything, but should we expect a behavior like this every time, asks another member. No, you won't, and whatever happened is for the king to share if he considers it pertinent for this council, Opalai answers before Callum opens his mouth. Thank you, Opalai, for the support. But I think I can take it from here. Everyone looks at the door, stand up, and bow or curtsy. My king. Ezran reaches his seat at the head of the table. Please, seat, they all do, not taking their eyes from him. Thank you all for coming, he starts. First, I want to apologize for this morning. I received really bad news on a personal scale out of the blue and needed time to process it. Callum, he calls. I want to talk later with you about what happened earlier. I'm sorry about my behavior. It was immature and uncalled for. Apology accepted. The brothers give each other tiny nods and smiles, letting the issue go, for now. Ezran sits comfortably, relaxes like nothing had happened, and addresses the room. Now, how about we begin? I have messages about a broken bridge and bandits on the road to Evenir that we can discuss. // As ambassadors, Callum and Rayla had been present in many council meetings with Ezran's previous staff. None of those meetings, not a single one, had gone as smoothly as the one they were presently at. The couple hold hands under the table and smile briefly at each other. All that work really had been worth it. So that is settled then, says Ezran, putting an end to the last topic of discussion. Any questions before we continue? No one speaks up. Great. Has anyone have another specific topic they want the council to address? Again, silence. Well then, I do. And here I was hoping for our first meeting adjourned, am I right? A general laughter goes around the table. Yes, sorry, not yet, Ezran chuckles. Please bear with me a little longer. He bends forward, putting his elbows over the table and interlocking his fingers. You see, for some time now, council member and royal advisor Opalai has been putting on hold something very important about a decision I have to make sooner or later. Ezran, wait, says Callum, breaking every protocol. If you mean what I think you mean, don't you think it's better to talk about in private first? I mean what you think I mean, he answers, looking directly at his brother, cool and collected, like this decision wasn't turning his insides out. As to why not discuss it first in private, there is no point. He moves to address the whole room once more. It's time to start looking for suitable candidates so Catullus can have a queen again. A general murmur goes around the room. Ezran waits for it to quiet down. I'll be declaring my intentions to our people and the other kingdoms in the following days, he says. Opinions. Here, I have one. My opinion is that this is a whole lot of bullshit. That startles the room, his wife included. Callum continues talking before anyone can recover from his outburst. Never have you shown interest in marriage unless it was someone else's. Never have shown interest in courting anyone. Never have shown interest in even having an affair. He pauses. Now the room was clinging to his every word. None of that ever interested you, unless it was with Anya. Ezran pales. Callum, don't. The Queen of Duran. Callum continues like Ezran was invisible. A truly difficult prospect if I'm honest, but my brother loves her and, if my sources are correct, she loves him as well. His face softens. So why are they not together? Easy, politics. The most stupid reason not to be with anyone. I sure know it. He looks down at Rayla with eyes full of love. So, honorable members of this council, will you stand with your king on his pursuit of true love and happiness? Everyone cheers. Ezran looks around at every face, every smile. Impossible. It couldn't be that easy. Even if we could change our laws, we cannot change Duran's. I thought long and hard about it, Callum. A king and a queen can't be. Besides, she decided to move on. She's engaged, he reasons. Not the same as married. She can still change her mind. Yoo-hoo, so that's why Chloe, Rayla kicks him on the sheens. Right, not the moment. Ezran passes a hand through his face, a little exasperated. And the throne. Neither she nor I can abdicate. I won't push the crown on you, Callum. I won't throw everything away, my responsibilities, my duty, my family, just to follow my heart. It's selfish. Yes, you can, says Callum. I mean, Dad did it for worse reasons after Mom died. He went for revenge. Why wouldn't you do it for love? I think it's more honorable. Or would you rather continue with your plan, choose someone you won't grow to love, and lie to them for the rest of their lives while feeling miserable cause your one true love is far away? Ezran hears people agreeing to Callum's words. What was happening here? He turns to Opalai, his question clear on his face. The woman gives him a motherly smile. We already knew. She opens her arms, signaling the whole room. All of us. You don't need to hide it anymore. Ezran lowers her head, tears threatening to fall. Callum, you never wanted. I know you don't. I can't. Callum moves to hug his little brother. For you, Ezran, I will. 100 times over I will, and with pleasure. Ezran gives Rayla a side glance. Don't even think about appealing to her. She already agreed. You fought for our happiness, Ezran adds, Rayla, standing up and joining the hug. Let us fight for yours now. You have our support, Ez, says Ellis. From all of us. Go get your girl, sir. We will be fine. I mean, Callum can't be that bad. Ezran starts laughing so hard the tears finally fall. Callum pretended not to notice. They all turn when the balcony doors open and Corvus enters. Your ride is ready, Your Majesty. He steps aside to show Phoe ready to go. Ezran stays glued to the stop, still not believing this was real. Was he really doing this? A little nudge from Callum snaps him out of it. He looks at the room one last time. Everyone smiling and expecting his next move. Ezran grins widely, takes the crown of his head and tosses it to Callum, who barely catches it, and runs for the door. He will never forget the cheers as he jumps into Phoe's back and takes off. Back inside the room, things calm down. Callum, calls Opalai. Yeah, I know. He walks to Ezran's former seat and puts the crown on the table. Clint, would you please change seats with Rayla, he says to the man to his right. Of course, Your Majesty. When everyone is settled again, he sits. So, King Callum, whispers Rayla with a huge grin. Has a nice ring to it. Callum smiles at her and takes her hand to ground himself. Okay people, break is over, this council just got a lot to discuss. He looks around and only sees eager faces. He relaxes. All would be alright. Let's begin. /////. Even with Phoe's help, the journey takes almost a whole day. Definitely less than what they traveled years ago into Zadia, but still fairly long. It's starting to get dark when he sees the castle in the distance. Almost there. Phoe. Announce your presence and land in front of the castle gate. I don't want to scare anyone or start a conflict. Phoe chirps. Ezran strokes her feather as he knows she likes. That gains him another happy chirp. Arriving into the city, Phoe starts her announcements. When she lands in front of the gates, there's a group of 6 guards, weapons out. Okay, maybe Ezran didn't think that approach all the way through. He'll have to wing it. I'm here to see the Queen, he declares. And what business does a bird have with the Queen of Duran, asks a soldier, obviously the group leader. Ezran face palms. Okay, first, not a bird, a moon phoenix. Get your facts right, he whispers to Phoe to let him down. Now that the phoenix wasn't blocking the view, The soldiers lower their weapons when they see it was just one person, even if still covered by shadows. Second, Moon Phoenixes can't talk, please read the bestiary my brother and Rayla wrote. And third, I'm the one who wants to see Anya. And you are? Ezran grins. He loves being extra. He steps into the light and sees the guards pale and fall in line immediately. I'm King Ezran, of Katolis. // Okay, so technically he wasn't a king anymore, but he was going to use all his advantages to his favor. He is escorted down familiar halls. To what do we owe your surprise visit, Your Majesty? Asks the soldier escorting him to make conversation. Important and urgent news that couldn't wait, he answers, never looking at the guard. Unlike him, but he needed to keep the pretense for now. A Moon Phoenix is faster than any kind of mailing system, and PHOE only lets me ride her, so the options were limited. What news? Ezran turns to the guard and raises an eyebrow, but doesn't answer. The soldier takes the hint, blushes, and shuts up. Say, can you do something about the entourage following us? After dispersing the crowd, they continue their way to Anya's study. The guard knocks and announces a guest has arrived for the queen. The door opens and Ezran's heart stops. It's Evelyn. Terry, how many times her voice catches when she sees him and her eyes go wide. King Ezran. Lady Evelyn, nice to see you again. Is the queen here? Why yes. Yes she is. She recovers and steps aside. Please come in, Your Majesty. Evelyn whispers something to Terry and the guard bolts. She then closes the door, staying outside. Ezran could swear she winked at him. Ezran takes a deep breath and walks into the room. Much like his own study back home, he entered into a wait area and there was another door at the other side of the little hall. The door was wide open. He enters and sees her there, sitting at her desk writing something. She doesn't look up. Who was it, Evelyn? Wouldn't you like to find out? A giant ink stain appears on the paper, but she couldn't care less. She is on her feet, crossing the room to hug him in seconds. Ezran. Good heavens, what are you? He kisses her. No. We can't, she says, pushing him away and taking a few steps back. She looks at him and is surprised to find him smiling big, like Callum had possessed him. On that you are wrong, my love, we surely can. He takes both her hands. I should have explained first, but having you finally so close to me, sorry. Couldn't resist. She strokes the back of her hands with his thumbs. You see, we now can, because Callum is taking the throne. Her eyes widen. What did you say? Callum is taking the throne, he repeats. It's not official yet, but I'll go back to be a prince. That means that. Now Anya is the one kissing him. Surprised, he chuckles. Shut up and kiss me. He doesn't need to be said twice. What is the meaning of this? And that is how Anya's complete council, 6 old guys, a few guards, a couple maids, and Evelyn find them a few minutes later. All present look like fish out of the water except the council man that screamed bloody murder and Evelyn, who is by all means enjoying the show with a shit-eating grin. My queen, says the same man, his voice strained but at least no longer yelling. Can you explain what you think you are doing? She is kissing King Ezran, of course. Don't you have eyes? Answers Evelyn before anyone can talk. As about why she is doing it, are you really demanding a queen to explain herself to a lowly subject like you? Well. The nerve. It's okay, Evelyn, don't worry. She turns to her council. What does it look like? Don't you have eyes? Evelyn and Ezran both do their best not to laugh. It's an expected behavior as I intend to marry him. The laughter is cut short and replaced by gasps all over the room. What? But you are engaged to. No, she is not. I'm backing out, Evelyn declares. More gasps. No offense, dear. None taken, Eve. Doesn't matter, a different guy intervenes. He is king of Katolis. You two can't. Prince, actually, he interrupts this time. No more gasps. The room goes silent. What? Ezran looks smug. He takes Anya's hand in his to mark his words better. I'm no longer king of Katolis. My heir, Crown Prince Callum, and his wife, Princess Rayla, have taken the throne, he explains. A coup, he can hear someone asking from the back. Far from it, he says. I've abdicated, he turns to look at Anya in the eye. I'm in love with your queen. I'm so madly in love you, Anya. A king can't marry a queen, but a prince can. So a prince I became. Surely your council won't. But they did, he says. They even cheered. Anya huffs. Why are you so against it? Seeing it from every logical angle, Ezran is the perfect choice for Duran. High morals, loyalty, political background, monarchy experience, royal blood. Don't forget handsome, my dear. Evelyn helps. Many laugh, the couple included. Yes, that too, thank you. She schools her expression and continues. So, tell me, why not? None can answer. The 6 members of her council look at each other. Why not? I guess, it's fine. The whole room cheers. Well then. Now that that's settled, he goes down on one knee. More excited cheering. I was in a hurry so I forgot the ring, sorry. You idiot. Anya laughs, tears forming in her eyes. Wait. What do you think you are doing, young man? Proposing. No, you are not. The man has to take a step back as the queen's stare promised a slow painful death. I mean, not now. Not yet. Please, can we at least do this according to protocol and tradition? Ezran looks up at Anya. She shrugs. He sighs and stands. Fine, your terms. 1 year of courtship and 1 year engagement. What? You are asking way too. We accept. Anya shuts up his complaint. But, Anya. It's reasonable, she says. And it will give you enough time to get everything in order back home. Tie loose ends, help Callum and Rayla get the gist of it. She kissed his cheek. I'm not going anywhere. We've waited this long, what's a little bit longer? Especially when we no longer need to sneak around. Sneak around? How long has this been going on? That's for us to know and for you to wonder, says Anya, closing that particular topic. So, are we in agreement? Agreed, says Ezran with a strong nod. The room explodes in cheers again. Maids and guards run out to spread the news. Evelyn approves. Just how she planned it. Nothing spreads news faster than castle staff. Okay, lovebirds, Evelyn tells them, approaching. I think it's time for the prince to go back home to deal with some consequences. Ezran groans. But it's dark outside already, says Anya. You can't travel right now. On the contrary, it's the best time to travel. I came with Phoe. Oh, well, that changes everything. She takes his hand. It's for the best, I guess. The sooner you are done over there, the sooner you can come back. That is true. Besides, Callum must be buried under paperwork right now. Got to go save him. And I do have to officially pass the crown in front of witnesses and a priest and write my abdication speech, he groans. Can't we just elope? Ezran feels a cold shiver travel down his spine and turns slowly. Anya's council had heard him and were now giving him death glares. Or maybe not. Both women laugh. Come on, you dork. Let's go. /////. So, I have a confession to make. All this time I was only a smokescreen working in favor of Anya. Evelyn drops the bomb on their way to Phoe. My role was only to scare away possible suitors for the queen. Keep her free of engagements until you came, Ezran. Wait, what? Both ask. Yep. You two weren't as sneaky as you thought. She laughs at their faces. This man, Corvus, and his wife, Opalai, asked me to help you. I just needed to keep Anya safe. And I did it at great personal risk. My lady wasn't happy about me going to my old flame. You guys owe me. She lets them process the information. What she sees is a silent conversation, the ones you see in married couples with decades together. She is glad. You are loved, Ezran, you truly are. She points at Anya. Especially by this one. Anya blushes. Okay, there's one thing I don't get. If you were meant to keep her free, why the engagement? The council was breathing down my neck, I miss my girlfriend, and you were taking too long. And as it brought you here, I'll say it worked. Anya hugs her. You little cunning bitch, she whispers and lets her go. Thank you. I'll go now, got a couple letters to write and things to pack. She starts walking away. You can come whenever you like. Anya calls after her. Bring your lady next time. We can make a day out of it. Evelyn waves in acknowledgement and disappears around the corner. Ezran call PHOE. Anya walks to him and takes his hand. He pulls her into a kiss. You know what, Ez? She asks softly against his lips. What? He gives her a small peck. Her eyes sparkle. I love you. Ezran freezes, eyes going wide. You said it. I did. Say it again. Anya chuckles, kisses him, and complies. I love you. She hugs him close. I can finally let myself say it. Ezran, did I ever mention it? Did I ever tell you? I love you. I'm in love with you. When PHOE lands, Ezran doesn't walk to her immediately. He lingers in Anya's embrace. He already dreaded their time apart. Hey, she makes him look at. I'm not going anywhere. I know. You know where to find me. I do. He kisses her one last time before getting on the Moon Phoenix. See you around, Ez. I love you. I love you, too. PHOE takes off and all Ezran can think about is the moment he'll be able to come back. He was once again leaving his heart behind, but now he knew it was well guarded. He looks in front of him at the bright moon. His future looked brighter. Notes. I've literally only listened to the Carol and Tuesday Ost while writing this whole thing. I need to rewatch XD. For now, stay tuned. We still missing one part, the not-so-epic conclusion to this 5 parts madness. Last chapter, Epilogue. Chapter 4, Epilogue. Summary. Just the beginning of the rest of their lives. Notes. See the end of the chapter for notes. Chapter text. Epilogue. 2 years later. As the bells sound at the Duran Cathedral, cannons are fired in celebration from every turret in the castle. The sound was deafening, but it couldn't compare to the sound of cheering all over the city. As Ezran walks out of the cathedral, he can see hundreds of flower petals in every color imaginable falling like rain. Past the curtain of petals he sees the cheering crowd gathered there, all eyes on him, on the crown sitting on his head now so different from the one he has worn for over a decade. This moment it's his new beginning. Our new beginning, he corrects himself as he takes his brand new wife's hand beside him. Presenting your majesty, Queen Anya of Duran, and her new husband, Prince Consort Ezran of Duran. Sweetest words he's ever heard. He can't stop smiling. Ezran scans the crowd looking for familiar faces. He finds them in seconds. He spots Corvus and Opalai first with their 3 daughters. The previous year Alma and Irene had gotten a new partner in crime. Baby Ella was a very welcomed surprise. He was going to miss them so much. He already did, to be honest. If he could, he would snatch them away. He just couldn't imagine his time as king without both of them. But he knew that was impossible. Corvus and Opalai belonged in Catullus with his brother. They held too many royal secrets to be safe for them to serve in a different court. He sees the pride in their eyes and he nearly chokes. He owes them so much he thinks he'll never be able to repay them. Doesn't mean he won't try. He spots Aunt Amaya next, holding hands with Queen Janai. His expression turns tender. Last month, Amaya had come to him about a month ago to let him know she would be moving to Luxora not long after he got married. The reason? She would also be getting married. Her not-so-secret relationship would finally come into the light. It would also be a lot of paperwork and meetings involved, and he was so glad it was Callum's problem now. He sees, soon-to-be Aunt Janai kiss Amaya on the corner of her mouth, making the general blush. It's adorable. He knows they'll be fine. Talking about Callum, he finds him a few steps next to Amaya. His brother had Sarai on his hip and Aiden on his shoulders. The twins were waving at them with all the enthusiasm a 2-year-old and a half could muster. Next to them, an 8-month pregnant Rayla was holding bait. We can hold the wedding until after the birth, they told her. Nonsense, she had answered. If it's meant to be born in Duran, then it will happen in Duran. No one dared to fight the Queen. Callum was doing okay as king. More than okay, in fact. It helped a lot how he managed the rising of the anti-elf group that had emerged after the whole abdication was announced. Nasty people. Rallying the people into believing this was Azadi's long-term plan to get an elf on the throne. It was a very stressful couple months. Everything was better than ever now. Callum being a loved rightful king. Ezran could swear he was born for the job. He sees Rayla say something into his ear and him blushing like a schoolboy. After so many years they were still so in love with no hint it would ever change. He hopes that will also be him. Ezran feels Anya touch the side of his face. He turns to see his wife smiling at him. You look deep in thought. Anything you want to share? He takes her hand and kisses her palm. Just the rest of my life with you. She leans in to briefly kiss his lips. Ready, she asks. Ready. And together they go down the cathedral steps into their new life. End.